I was shocked when I read about what could be happening at the United States Mint. This would be the biggest change in the history of the institution, and if you are a collector of coins, well, this may not be good for you. Now, let's discuss it in this video as we explore. More and more, I am increasingly skeptical of what I read, even from trusted sources. And this source is Coin World. Now, Coin World, I usually, don't question what they say or what they write about. I often will disagree from time to time with certain aspects of what they write. I think there's a little bit of a political bent with some of the stuff that they present, although obviously some of it, you may agree with, some of it you may not agree with. And I think this is part of an area where we can kind of have a healthy level of skepticism because of the absolutely outrageous nature of what this piece is about. But we're going to back up a little bit and talk about a previous story that I had reported on from Coin World about the potential that the San Francisco Mint could be closed down. And this piece here was by the same author, Paul Gilks, and I think this is something that is quite profound and detailed as to what led to the conclusion of this, which really keeps it open-ended as to whether or not the institution is going to be closed down. There's not been any follow-up that I've seen since then about what's going to happen with the San Francisco Mint closing its doors. But the article essentially finishes out by saying that there's a strategy is progressing towards that end of its closing its doors from Doge. Doge, as we know, is the Department of Government Efficiency, and they're essentially tasked with finding the waste, fraud, and abuse in our government. And of course, the United States Mint is one of the few institutions in government that actually turns a profit. And that profit actually does pay down the general revenues of the Treasury. Now, there's probably waste that is going on in there. We know there has been the case with the DEI programs that have been throughout the Biden administration, and Doge is working to root that out in all government institutions. No question about that, and I'm fine with that. However, what about closing down a mint that produces proof sets and proof coins and much of that, for collectors? Now, that's another matter because that is the highest profits that the United States Mint gets from the general public who willingly present their money to buy these overpriced numismatic products, many of which you see right here. Of course, this is mostly coming from other mints that you see right here before you, but nonetheless, what I'm going to be sharing with you now could lead to the end of all of that. In a very suspiciously short piece by the same author from Coin World, the Doge is looking into potential changes in mint operations. And usually the title of a piece would be the most flamboyant or the biggest thing, and then usually what's underneath of it is not as profound. In this case, it's what's inside of the article that is more crazy. Since the Department of Government Efficiency was created, 300 positions have been trimmed from the United States Mint payroll with efforts to trim 300 more positions. But here's where it gets crazy. One sentence. The numismatic product division is being targeted for complete elimination. That's all of this stuff, folks. Everything that you see right here could disappear. That's right. Crazy. Now, of course, this is stuff that you can buy that's proof or has special finishes with limited mintage. If you want to buy bullion products, well, that's where you go to places like Summit Metals. And that stuff is still available and will be available, much of it by law, and by that has been in an act for since 1985. The Gold and Silver Eagle. Summit Metals has some of the most competitive prices, especially for fractional gold. And so check them out at summitmetals.com. But for this type of stuff, you can only get it from the United States Mint, and the authorized purchasers as well. And there's a special another layer of being able to get this stuff as well through other dealers. But they really set up a situation. Now, a lot of the stuff I believe is overpriced. I mean, obviously, I bought some of it. Some of it has done fairly well in the secondary market. Others not so much. But these collectible coins are a staple of what America's been about since they started offering these, really dating back to, I think, 1936, I believe was the first year that the United States Mint offered proof sets to the general public. And that's where it all began. And San Francisco Mint was profound in that end. They also produced circulating coins in special releases. But the numismatic product division is being targeted for complete elimination, with the revenue to be redirected from the Mint's public enterprise funds for other purposes. Now think about that. When I read that sentence, it really creates more questions than answers. Now, revenue to be redirected from the public enterprise fund for other purposes. So what is going to be happening here to the numismatic product division? Does this mean that you won't be able to buy any of these types of coins anymore? Or will they just be organized into the public enterprise fund? I don't know, but it sounds like that whole division is being taken away. That's crazy to think about. Then the article goes on to say that the 1996 Mint reform legislation created the Public Enterprise Fund for placing revenue from all the product sales that support the Bureau's operations. The fund forwards millions of dollars annually to the Treasury to help pay down the national debt. Exactly. So, Mint revenue is generated from sales of numismatic products, bullion and related precious metal coins, commemorative coins, and circulation finished coins that are sold to the Federal Reserve for circulation distribution. And then talks about those facilities, and that includes the West Point Mint, and that is where most coins in general, gold, silver, platinum, and palladium programs, and gold commemorative coins, such as you see here, including in these commemorative coin sets that you see that are minted at different facilities. And here we can see that this coin is minted in San Francisco. That's West Point. I think that this is in Philadelphia with the P Mint mark from that commemorative set there. And then you have the U.S. Mint headquarters, which is the administrative control center in Washington, D.C. That likely is going to stay. The Fort Knox Bullion Depository holds the bulk of the nation's gold reserves. That's going to stay. San Francisco Mint is still up in the air. The proof sets and silver versions for the silver proof sets, matte finished silver presidential medals, proof versions of commemorative coins, and American Eagle silver dollars where demand requires. So all of that is what plays out with what's happening there. That could all those things could be on the chopping block in terms of this stuff. At least that's what it sounds like. That's basically it with the article, other than describing what the Philadelphia Mint produces and the Denver Mint produces. But the numismatic product division takes care of all of this type of stuff. The limited issue numismatic pieces that are sold to the general public that you can buy on the Mint's website, all of that would be gone. And there would be no more product catalog, it sounds like, if it's going to be for complete elimination. There's no other details, which leads me to question the motive behind this, to create panic and fear among collectors out there. That's crazy. Well, we'll get back to that panic and fear in a moment. But first, I want to tell you about a new coin being offered by Spectres. This is the Cleopatra coin. I'm going to show this to you. The Queen of Egypt. What I like about the Spectres group is they provide not only high quality products, but usually stuff of really cool historic significance. And with their known packaging here, very nice, tough packaging, really cool certificates of authenticity that really bring out. This is a heavy cardstock that you see here, designed by Spectres, Cleopatra, certificate of authenticity with all the specifications and the like on the piece. This is a 2 ounce, and it's 10,000 francs from the Republic of Chad. What an amazing piece here. We're going to pull it out for you. You can see this thing in all of its glory. It is absolutely stunning and amazing. Look at that. In stunning high relief in this 45 millimeter piece here that you can see, heavily antiqued. Very nicely done. Cleopatra VII was the last pharaoh of Egypt. Renowned for her beauty, intellect, and political acumen, her reign was marked by strategic alliances and her captivating presence. The coin celebrates her legacy and multifaceted nature as both a ruler and seductress. The reverse of the coin features Cleopatra and regal pose, adorned with the eagle of Zeus and the asp, which are symbols of the divine right and tragic end, against the backdrop of the temple of Hathor and Dendra. The obverse shows Cleopatra amidst the Nile River there in Egypt. What an amazing piece. And it has the Sphinx and the pyramids under a starry sky, capturing her allure and strategic intellect. Yes. Wow. So much going on there. The detail was great, but it does not take away from the overall composition and design of this piece. And of course, it's 2-ounce legal tender made from 3/9 fine silver, and it has a face value of 10,000 francs. With this high relief antiquing that is going on, this is limited to just 500 pieces. So I'm going to post a link to where you can purchase this over at Spectre's. What an amazing coin indeed. Fabulous. And there you can see the high relief detail. Amazing job. So back to the depressing part of this aspect. For collector coins from the United States Mint, you won't have to worry about that with Spectre's for sure. But what would happen? Would these coins just disappear, or would they be outsourced to a private institution? Well, more than likely, either of those could occur. But nonetheless, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen here. In fact, I don't even know if it's true. Honestly, there's so little context here. Essentially, this story is one sentence long. That's it. That's other than just saying that they're going to trim more positions, 300 more positions. The big news is the elimination of the numismatic product division. So let me know what your thoughts are about this story. Do you think it's true? And if so, what would happen? Would these products still be created through a private enterprise or institution with the blessing of the mint? I don't know. My guess is probably not. How would you do this? Is it even true? Let me know. I'm still in shock reading this. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. I hope you found this video informative, insightful, and educational. Would like to extend a multitude of gratitude to each and every one of you for taking the time to watch, and to encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.